The history of printing. Prepared by Maire Angel Cabrera, Hershline de Mapilis, Ren Delgado, Mara de Guzman, and Fenelin Cadalin.
Johann Gutenberg. Johann Gutenberg was a German blacksmith, goldsmith, printer, and publisher who introduced printing to Europe. His invention of mechanical movable type printing started the printing revolution and is widely regarded as the most important event of the modern period. It played a key role in the development of the Renaissance, Reformation, the Age of Enlightenment, and the Scientific Revolution, and laid the material basis for the modern knowledge-based economy and the spread of learning to the masses. Before Johann Gutenberg's invention of printing press, books were produced by scribes. The process of writing was very laborious. These remained true until the invention of movable type, which is attributed to Johann Gutenberg. Gutenberg was a man of vision and developed movable printing press, which made the process much quicker, cheaper than the woodblock printing. However, his inventors repossessed his business before the mass-produced book was successfully printed. Invention of paper revolutionized the face of print. In the 11th century, Pi Sheng of China starts to print with removable clay type. In 6th century, Chinese engravers mastered art of woodblock printing. In 100 AD, we saw the first bound book on the market.
Gutenberg's brilliant idea aided the creation of the first newspaper called Avisa, printed in Germany in 1609. In 1702, England had the first newspaper published daily. It was called the Daily Courant. In year 1714, Englishman Henry Mill received the first patent for a typewriter. Year 1737, Pierre Simon Fournier invented Boyne system in type, which was eventually modified and standardized by Ambroise Didot. This innovation is still in use in modern-day computers. In 1839, woodcuts and lithograph from daguerreotypes decorated pages of magazines. Few decades later, in 1881, development of half-tone press made possible to reproduce photographs in books and newspapers. In the early 19th century, the Industrial Revolution brought major innovations in printing technology. In 1810, Friedrich Koenig applied steam power to printing press. Rotary steam presses replaced hand-operated machines, doing the same job in a small fraction of the time. Typesetting was transformed by the introduction of line casting machines. First is Ottmar Mergenthaler's linotype at 1889, and then the monotype machine. Line casting allowed type to be chosen, used, and then recirculated back into the machine automatically. In 1831, Joseph Henry invented the first electric telegraph. 4 years later, in 1835, Samuel Morse formulated Morse code, and then in 1843, he also produced the first long-distance electric telegraph line. At the same time, Alexander Bain invented the first fax machine. In 1867, Thomas Edison invented his mimeograph, which was the first office copying machine, which might inspire Chester Carson, almost a century later, to invent the photocopier machine. Business life was irreversibly changed within the introduction to the market of Remington typewriter in 1874. Journalism also became more accessible when 1914 Howard Crumb introduced teletype. In 1935, the first electric typewriter entered the market. In 1965, IBM introduced the first word processor. In 1979, VisiCalc develops the first spreadsheet program and WordStar released their first word processing package, which revolutionized our work environment and business world. In 1963, we noticed the arrival of the first light pen by MIT. This innovation might have been the beginning of modern computer graphics. Photo composition, typesetting mode entered the market in 1944, but didn't catch on until the early 1950s. The digital era in typesetting started in early 1970s. The early computer-based typesetters were a hybrid between the photo composition machines and later pure digital output.
PostScript was the pioneer in digital typesetting in the late 1980s. It includes Apple LaserWriter printer combined with the Macintosh computer and the PageMaker desktop publishing program. Technological advances in printing made possible for books to be more accessible to wider audience. Before, books were only for rich people, but later it reaches every knowledge-seeking household. In 1786, the first embossed book was published for blind people. The 1904 is a special year for comic book lovers. Children were pleased to see their first interactive book in 1940, like Pat the Bunny by Dorothy Conhart. Nowadays, printing industry are in a rough phase. CAP Ventures predicted that within that 5 years, 80% of all print will be ordered online or what so-called e-books. Present e-books are handheld devices in which books can be downloaded in a file form and read on a backlit screen using buttons to maneuver through text. There have been experiments with online book distribution by Stephen King, David Saperstein, and Mary Higgins. Bob Stein, founder of Night Kitchen, is currently developing software known as TK3, enabling authors to write multimedia books that could be embedded with video and audio, searchable sticky notes, internet links, and Beam for annotations.
In 1975, Kurzweil Technologies started to work on first omnifont optical character recognition, first flatbed scanner, and first text-to-speech synthesis. The 1990s created handwriting recognition system. The Apple Newton is the precursor to widespread handwriting recognition programs, allowing users to directly input their own information and more easily enter data while on the go. Our digital technology is trying to compete with the ordinary paper as a display medium for printed matter. By Nippon Printing Company's Central Research Institute has been developing a digital paper-like medium for information display that can be electronically erased and thermally rewritten many times. The Liquid Crystal Institute successfully produced sophisticated, weightless, flexible display that operates for many hours using lightweight batteries and exhibiting high resolution and contrast. A company called E-Ink is creating electrophoretic ink. This ink has a high contrast display that can be read easily from any angle just like real print. The secret is in the ink, made up of switchable capsules, dark blue on one side and white on the other. The Lucid Technologies and E-Ink came to an agreement and are developing paper-like electronic display. The working prototype is a step towards creating electronic newspapers. This paper is called radio paper. Radio paper acts like a digital paper, but would wirelessly receive information that creates a display.